Okay. Good morning. I have to get used to these microphones. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you so much for giving Dr. Fryer and I the opportunity to speak with you today. It's been about 4 weeks since the start of the year, and we're getting used to our routines, we're getting to know our teachers, and we are cultivating our relationships with each other. Every year, you work very hard to understand and meet our expectations for you as a student, and there are so many. One expectation is how to use technology responsibly at Casady. So today, Dr. Fryer and I will begin conversations with you about what it means to be responsible digital citizens and our responsible use policy. Okay. All right. So in order to prime our minds for this discussion, it may be helpful to connect what we're going to talk about today with this quote, okay? The true test of a person's character is what he or she does when no one is watching, by John Wooden. So character, the way I understand it, is character is who we are as an individual. It's the core of ourselves. It develops and is shaped over time by the qualities that we were born with and the experiences that we have with each other. Through the years, you have developed the ability to understand the moral part of who you are. It's that part of you, it's that inner voice that lets you know the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. Think about situations in your life when you've had to make decisions without people looking over your shoulder or telling you what to do. Well, that's what character is. Character never leaves you. It's always around when people are watching and when they're not. It sits with you when you're alone and helps you reflect on your decisions that you make and how you treat people. It guides you, it defines you, it shapes who you are.
So today we're talking about digital citizenship, and we're going to talk about our responsible use policy. But we want everybody to remember that what we're talking about here really isn't new. We've been talking about these things since you've been at Casady, the choices that you make, the way we treat other people, the respect that we give to others. And our Casady mission statement, that Casady develops excellence, confidence, and integrity in students and prepares them with the skills and knowledge that serve as the foundation of success, really is kind of a guiding light for us. And that word integrity is something that we want to focus in on a little bit today. And I want to tell you a couple quick stories. So as you may know, we have my wife and I, a daughter here who's now a freshman, but we also have 2 older children. My oldest son is a junior now at the Casady School of Mines, studying mechanical engineering, and our middle daughter just graduated from Casady School of Advanced Studies downtown. And, you know, how many of us somewhere at school, whether it's in your pocket now or it's in your locker, how many of you got a smartphone? Like, just show of hands. How many folks? Okay? I won't ask you if you don't, but it's kind of rare today not to have one. It's not wrong not to have one. We've got, folks that don't have these. But these are such powerful tools. And it's important for us to recognize the power that this has to do good and to do evil. One of the small ways, but it's actually kind of a big deal, that I use this on a weekly basis is to communicate with our son. I talked to him this weekend, and I grew up in a family where I knew my dad loved me, but he didn't tell me that a whole lot. And so the times that he told me that, and he even wrote that a few times, they're really meaningful to me. So being able to tell my son, text my son, hey, I love you, check in with him. I mean, he's in Colorado, he's in Golden, 9-hour drive away, but it's really amazing to be able to be together and connected in that way. But in the same way that's awesome, I've also experienced and seen in my own children how harmful technology can be, especially with regard to bullying and texting. One of the things that I think probably happens, you guys have group text, don't you, for your whole class? They had that at Classen, and so my middle daughter, who just graduated, they had that as well. Like, every single member of her class was in a group text chat. And there was a situation that happened last fall, actually in October, that was so brutal. Somebody had done something, and the texting that was happening, I mean, after this happened, the kids were around our house and talking about this. I thought, is this girl who was involved in this going to be a suicide risk or risk for depression? Because her whole class, it was so harsh. So my point is, technology we've experienced, the really good and the really bad. And we're not here to tell anybody to throw their cell phone away. We're here to talk about how we use it, but to recognize the choices that we make and how important it is to think about the consequences of those choices on others and also on ourselves.
Okay, the Casady Honor Code. So I know you all will be hearing more about the Honor Code, and the Honor Code was created by Upper Division Casady students some time ago in 1996. So let's read it. So I will not lie, cheat, or steal, and I will, in good conscience, deal responsibly with any breaches of this code. If I do not act in a responsible manner, I will accept the consequences determined by the discipline committee. So what does that mean? Well, we have our own expectations for how we act and behave, and we are committed and determined to meet those expectations every day. When we all abide by this code, teachers, students, faculty members, security, cafeteria, or maintenance crew, we help foster a community of trust. So trust is so important, and it means that we can rely on each other to do what we say we're going to do, no matter what. And this is how we build and foster integrity. Citizenship, rights and responsibilities. So as you begin, continue, and prepare to wind down your time at Casady, please know that your experiences are anchored by our mission, right? To help you develop integrity, confidence, and excellence so that you will be a responsible citizen, not just here at Casady, but beyond when you leave campus. So as a student and member of the Casady community, you have the right to speak your mind and share your opinion, of course. But there's a responsibility associated with that. You should speak with care and without harm. You have the right to drive your car on campus and outside the campus, but there's also a responsibility to that. You have to obey the traffic rules, you have to follow the signs in order to maintain order and to keep everyone safe. In the same way, we can use technology. Yes, you can use our devices or your devices and our networks that help them function, but you also need to follow the rules and guidelines to ensure that what we do is consistent with our honor code and our mission at Casady.
In the next week, you will have an opportunity with your advisor to sign our responsible use policy. And this is something that your parents already signed as part of your enrollment, and all of our faculty and staff have signed a slightly amended version of this. And this is a changed policy from what we've had in the past. In the past, we had an acceptable use policy, and it serves a similar purpose, but the responsible use policy has statements that I will not, and I understand. And back to that story I was telling you about our middle daughter at Classen, you know, that situation of bullying really brought up some tough issues because there was someone here who was obviously hurting, who was being affected by the communication and the messaging that was happening. And so one of the questions that she faced and her classmates faced was, are we going to do something about this? Are we going to stand up for her? You know, who's a safe adult we can talk to? Or are we not going to do anything about this and just kind of let this ride? And so what Dr. Baucum-McKinney and I would like to do is basically go through briefly a couple of these statements and just highlight some of the things that we hope you'll think about as you have the opportunity to sign this. So to begin, the responsible use policy says, I will. And the first thing says, I will adhere to the honor code. And I understand each of you that have been here at Casady had a chance to sign that. And I think tomorrow, freshmen and new students will have a chance to do that in the upper division. And the example that sets for the rest of our school is really important. We'll be talking to the middle division today and the lower division as well and telling them about your honor code, how important it is that we not lie, steal, or cheat, and that we develop those qualities so that it's not just when we're being watched and it's not just when we're at Casady, it's all the time. Because even when you go somewhere else, even if you're not wearing a Casady shirt, you represent, right? I represent. And we need to recognize that and make sure that our behavior represents well. The second thing I'll highlight is the treatment of respect, online and offline. In October, we're going to have a series of chapel talks for Digital Citizenship Week. And it's a pretty crazy day right now, isn't it? With Facebook and elections and the ways that social media has become, even more front and center in what society is talking about. We've got a Supreme Court justice nomination going on right now, and stuff that he did in high school is now coming up, And so the things that we do, hopefully we have opportunities to make mistakes and recover from those mistakes. We all all do, right? I mean, we won't go into those stories, but, we've all made mistakes. But the point is, we want to try and be intentional in the ways that we treat others and the ways that we are using our words, whether it's in person today, as you see people in the hallway, or as it's online after the fact, because we can all be connected at all times now, and school and our school connections don't obviously just end when we go home.
Okay. Now, here are some things that you're pledging not to do. So number 3, I will not use technology to bully or tease other people. And this is very important because we know, like Dr. Fryer said, that social platforms can be wonderful tools to share information with others. It can also be a place where you may just put something out there that you regret if you don't think carefully about it, that you can't take back, It can be a place that can cause harm and make people feel threatened or hurt. Casady does not tolerate bullying or teasing on campus, and we don't tolerate it while you connect with others through the use of technology. Number 10, I will not take pictures or videos of anyone or share photos or videos without their permission. So this is important because we take a lot of pictures every day. But we need to remember that everyone has the right to decide what is done with their image. So as a courtesy, just please make sure you ask for their permission to do so. Okay? And I understand. I want to review one more policy. So I understand that my access to internet resources and use of technology resources owned by Casady School is not private. Teachers, technology staff, and administrators may review my work and activities at any time, including my personal devices used to access school network resources and use at school. So this means even when you bring your phone, your laptop, or your tablet to school, when you use the wireless network or the Casady Drive, even at home, it's important to know that the things you write or the pictures you take, the school can see at any time.
One of the things that some of you know we started to try last year and now we're fully implementing is a program called Gaggle. And Gaggle is a program that gives us more insight into the email that you send and the documents that you create. And it's really important for you to know where this started. I don't know if you've heard headlines about this, but there have been situations, even one of them was in Edmond, where a student was going to supposedly bring a bomb to school. We've heard about school shootings. We know a lot about safety and danger. The primary reason that we have this at Casady School is to try to keep our community safe. And if you've flown any time, probably in your lifetime since 9/11, airport security has changed a lot. And you will hear them talk about if you see something, tell someone. Because keeping our community safe, it's not just, Dr. Powell's responsibility and Mr. Sheldon and Mr. Bonfiglio and mine. It is all of our responsibility. And it's not just about someone who would try to harm someone else. It's also about when people might, be thinking about harming themselves. And as you've heard, I'm sure before, suicide is something we always take seriously. If we ever hear someone talk about suicide, it's not something we blow off. It's not something we ignore. And so we all play a role in trying to keep our community safe. And Gaggle is a piece of that puzzle in trying to help us keep our community safe. So overall, we are excited to be here with you, to be part of our community. This is my 4th year to be here, and it is a blessing to be here. I've had a chance to spend a number of hours with Dr. Baucum-McKinney, and I can tell you she is an awesome school psychologist, and we are blessed to have her in our community because together, along with our teachers, along with our staff, along with you, we're on a journey, right? None of the adults that are around you grew up with this stuff in our pockets. Right? There's a lot of new technology and new power that we have. And as we go forward, we want to stay true to that Casady mission, to that honor code, and we want to help each other not only stay safe, but hopefully follow those values and those portraits of a graduate value statements that we talk about so that when you leave Casady School, you're going to be that graduate that all of us are going to be proud of. So we thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in the weeks ahead.